everybody. So, this is just a fully candid video, so bear with me. It's probably gonna spiral and spin and repeat the same things and maybe make no sense. But it's all gonna be about sort of mental health. And I personally take pride in myself as being independent and strong and self-driven and just self-empowered. That's like the brand, and that's what keeps me going in my head. But that doesn't mean that I'm not also super unstable sometimes, or sad, or break down, or there's so many people that tell me that I'm inspirational, or I've handled this so well, all my sickness stuff, or anything in my life I've handled so well, and that's not always true. I'm actually just coming out from having a panic attack. I get panic attacks. I've had panic attacks for most of my adult life. I'm only 26, so not that long, but I like to be composed, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I just don't feel in control, and I just start crying and shaking and repeating things over and over and over, like repeating negative things. And I'm all for counseling. I'm all for medications. I take quite a lot of anxiety meds, especially since I've been sick, for various things, either just medical things or life things. But being sick is scary, especially now with this new diagnosis of Evans syndrome that doesn't necessarily ever go away. And I value being independent, but being alone is also really scary. And for the last week, I've been on my own for the first time, actually, technically ever. I actually throughout my whole life, I like to keep to myself at home, but I've always had roommates, like housemates, on purpose to save money. And I just like having people like in the house, knowing they're around. But sort of unexpectedly, my caregivers and my mom and stepdad had to leave. There's a lot of drama there. If you know me, family has never been a strong point in my life, from both ways, my fault and their faults, and history, and it's a very long topic, but they left, and so I've been taking care of myself for the last week in the Airbnb, which I am actually a lot more physically able now, which is good, but it's been a week. The first few days you're like keeping busy, and then it gets to you more and more and more. You're just sitting by yourself, and and then you also don't feel well, like especially last night and today. Like my body's just in pain. Like last night I was in so much pain, and just doing things around the house is just so painful sometimes, like with my legs. And now I'm getting down on steroids, I'm tired, and I know I'm on lots of mood-altering drugs, like steroids, make everything like extra, but it gets really hard, and sometimes I break down, and being lonely is a big fear of mine. It's a double-edged sword, and I've talked to friends about it. They're like, oh, well, I'll come visit, I have friends in Philly. But I'm quarantining, right? So germs are a huge factor. I just saw my doctor today, and she's very, very, very worried about me being around germs, and really, really suggests that I stay away from all people just for as long as I can. But we also talk about mental health too, and she also agrees that mental health is important. And I've been really actually ashamed of telling too many people, but I do try to be strong, right? But there was an incident last week where I just broke down. I just couldn't. I was fighting with my family, and I felt like I couldn't be in the Airbnb anymore, and so I ran out at like 9 p.m. No shoes on, no coat on. It's January, just walking in the streets of Philadelphia, crying. And then eventually my legs gave out, so I just fell over, and I was just crying on the street, on the sidewalk, with no shoes and no coat, in the nighttime, winter of Philadelphia. And that's when I realized that I'm not okay, and I needed to get help. So I walked into a restaurant and asked them to call 911 and went to the emergency room. And I knew it was just anxiety, but when you're sitting on the street with no shoes and no coat in the cold, crying, it's probably a sign that you should get help. And that became kind of a big incident for me, because I like to kind of let things pass and, acknowledge that they're bad and move on, and sometimes, I just forget about them, which can be called denial. But it was brought up again today with my doctor of, that's not okay, right? Like, your mental health is important. We were talking a lot about getting a cat. So for the last week, I was like, hey, I'm by myself, but I'm gonna get a cat. I'm gonna get a cat. I'm not gonna be by myself. I'm gonna get a cat. So I've been like really aggressively looking at getting a cat. And then my doctor was like, well, just, maybe push off getting a cat a little longer, as long as possible, keep looking, but it takes time to look, right? And in my head, I was like, what? I was gonna go to the shelter tomorrow, like literally, like I was planning to go tomorrow. I did all my research. I had a spreadsheet of like my top 20 cats in Philadelphia that I would want, and I was like, tomorrow. And she said, no, but it's not healthy for you yet, maybe just give it like at least 1 more week, like just give your immune system a little more time. And then I was like, well, I honestly don't know how much longer that I can just be on my own. And not, that a cat's gonna fix it, but I worry about stuff like that. And I worry about dying, especially now. I really don't want to die by myself in this Airbnb. I know I have friends, and I know they would come if they didn't have germs. I called some people, and some people didn't pick up or text, and that never helps. Little things get in your head, but life just isn't always happy and strong, is what I want this video to show you. I don't want you to worry about me, because I know I get like this sometimes. And there's plenty of proactive things that I do, like counseling and treating myself and being productive. I like feeling productive. The cat, I'm getting an emotional support animal, like officially getting the letter and everything. I started doing online meetups just today. So this morning I did yoga, like a meditation yoga. Last night I did a laughter yoga. I'm trying to, there are things I'm progressively have in line that I know to make things better. But I just got a message that this is actually what made me make this video, is while I'm like having this panic attack, I got a message saying, your videos look like you're so much I don't know the exact word, it was like, your videos look like you're so much more energized and peppier and like happier now. You look good. And I was just like, this has been the hardest week in my life. I'm in so much pain, and I'm lonely, and I'm scared. And I'm not sure how, I want you to know that maybe that video didn't give you the right impression. And it's important for people to know what I'm going through because I'm so isolated. But that's the definition of quarantine, so I do kind of support, quarantining. And my doctor really did try to make me feel like I'd be better. My numbers are going up. And in time, the drugs they gave me to take away all of my immune system will fade. So I'm already, getting off steroids. The rituximab will fade in time. So she kept saying, like, in summer, I really, really hope that you can, be out and about again, around people, Being sick is a lot. And it's been 2 years of different sicknesses, and I really, 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 I chose to have a bone marrow transplant to have a fresh start. And then I got Evans syndrome, which is basically the same effects of aplastic anemia, but doesn't go away. So I didn't explain that in as much sense as it was supposed to make, but it's just, I'm tired. Another trigger is being sleepy. And actually, I haven't been sleepy in months because of the steroids. Now that I'm finally getting off steroids, I've been sleepy, which is like almost a foreign feeling. And I almost always feel better once I go to sleep. The question is how much damage I do, like maybe filming this video before I fall asleep. And then when I wake up, the question is, how much damage control do I have to do? Which, self-awareness is the first step. Making action to change the things you're self-aware of is a whole new step that I've been stuck on for quite a while. But to make this whole thing positive, like I said before, blah, 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 I just wanted to know that things can be really hard too. Even though on social media and to our friends sometimes, or we tell people that we're strong, and we tell people good things. I've always felt pressure to tell people good things. It's not always good. But we try. And I have things in place, I have a plan, I made a whole, I spent a lot of time looking at online meetups, and I should sleep more, and I should avoid triggers, at least at this time. And I'm strong. Thanks for listening. It makes me feel less lonely. And if you've reached out, tons of people have reached out, and I really appreciate that. I'm not always in the place to like really, really connect and chat and, video call and stuff like that. But I appreciate knowing that you even thought of me to ask. And it's weird, you know, all these drugs and stuff. I know 100% that I haven't felt myself in months. And I know that my body is not what it's supposed to be. And we'll see. But this is part of the journey too. And now I'm rambling. So, thanks for watching. Don't worry about me. There is hope.